Welcome to Excelsior's domain. It's been a little while since I did the first version of this video, but things have moved on and I've got a 4K recording kit now, so I thought I would redo this video. So what is Excelsior's domain all about? Well, the tagline is the future of the past, and that basically means the future as it was envisaged in the past. So things like old science fiction shows that looked forwards, like Space 1999, Babylon 5, all that sort of good stuff. The channel has developed a lot over time. Way back when, originally, it didn't have that tagline. It wasn't called Excelsior's domain. It was just Excelsior's, And the aim of the channel back then was actually 80s cartoon intros, because I was actually recording them off videotape at the time, digitally encoding them, which 20 years ago was a bit of a feat, and I would put those up, and the channel did quite well off the back of that. But the problem is, nowadays, those are what are called sort of reused content. They're not viewed as being sort of original content. So when I came back to the channel, many years later, I quite fancy getting it monetized again. The rules had changed, so I couldn't do that sort of reused content bit anymore. So what I had to do was take a view and start from scratch effectively, get rid of a lot of those old videos, which I had very fond memories of, and had, of course, had a lot of views on as well, and kept a lot of people coming back to the channel. So I took it in a slightly different direction, and I started doing more videos around things like old nostalgia-inducing toys, and that then led me to watch a series when I was poorly with COVID one time, which opened my eyes to the fact that there are dedicated shops in the UK and elsewhere that deal with nothing but retro toys. So I ended up picking up items like this rather lovely Excelsior class ship from Star Trek of old, but also Star Trek of current as well. And this is where things get interesting, because Star Trek is a shining example of a science fiction TV show that has kept going down the decades, and yet some of the ships actually remain quite stable. So the toys that were out a while ago are still perfectly relevant for the current examples of the show, even with CGI being introduced. So I never had many Star Trek toys growing up, but I do now have a playlist which is dedicated to things like the Playmates and the Diamond Select range. And as I've gone on, I've also discovered toy fairs. So through visiting shops like Cosmic Toys in Dewsbury, and I'm getting to know a chap called Gareth there who runs the store, I've also ended up appearing on a sort of a video cast, I'd suppose you'd call it, a channel called The Cosmic Toy Man, and we do the Cosmic Council every 2 weeks on a Wednesday night. So you're more than welcome to join us for that little live broadcast, of course. And we shoot the breeze about toys, current toys, older shows, coconuts, macaroons, biscuits, chocolate bars, things of this nature that are important to current events and so on, as you'll appreciate. But my channel keeps to a fairly sort of stable routine at the moment, touch wood. So on Monday nights I'm doing my Trek Toys playlist, and I'm just looking at various examples of Trek toys down the years, and I'm sort of currently in my sort of Next Generation / Deep Space Nine kind of phase, which is probably going to be about the end point for me, because I'm sticking to things which are nostalgic for me rather than things like Star Trek Discovery. So I also, on a Thursday night, then have a little slot about 7:30 where I generally put out a video which could be on pretty much anything else. It could be something that's caught my eye on eBay, it could be toy fair pickups, and again, toy fairs, not a thing I knew anything about before I came back to the channel in earnest, and you will occasionally see me do toy fair walk around videos. They may come on a day that isn't Monday or Thursday, just to sort of fit them in fairly soon after the event. But then on the Thursday after, I'll probably try and do the pickups. So you know, broadly speaking, I will be looking at stuff that tickles me from the past, that makes me feel nostalgic, gives me the warm fuzzies, and hopefully gives you the warm fuzzies as well. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. So I'm more than happy to take suggestions, and if you have any comments on the quality of the videos or anything like that, please do let me know, because I'm a rank amateur when it comes to this stuff. I've gradually been upgrading my equipment over time. This is my first sort of dedicated 4K camera that I've got, that I'm using now for my sort of more static work. You know, I've got lighting rigs. I've even got a green screen behind me at the moment, which is, you know, quite radical for me. But these are all just things that I'm learning about and trying to sort of develop as time goes on, you know. And one of my aims with the channel was to get it remonetized, because monetization is a little bit trickier these days, and I have now managed to do that. So for the past 6 months or so, I have been monetized. It is not a massive breadwinner for a channel like this, which is quite a sort of, you know, a focused, old school, limited kind of appeal channel, realistically. You know, I'm realistic about it. And that suits me fine. It's just a hobby for me personally. So I get about £15 a month if I'm lucky, which is derived from enough watch hours, so minimum of 400 watch hours a month, give or take, and about sort of 8,000 views a month probably as well, something like that. So that's enough to keep you above the monetization minimum threshold, but it does require you to have your own content, which is why I do stuff like this, because they can't argue it's reused if no one's ever had it on before. So it does mean that I've had to let some of my older cartoon intros go. Some of them do remain, but I couldn't hold on to the majority of them because it was just a blocker to the other new content being enough to put the channel over the minimums, basically. So it's not a massively high bar, but I think the subscriber count I had an advantage in that this channel had been up and running for a number of years before I came back to it. So it had, you know, more than enough subscribers to cover that side of it. But if you are just starting out, that's probably one of your more sort of uphill struggles. But do stick with it, because you will get there ultimately. And I'm fortunate in that some of the people who are probably watching this video are part of the sort of the community that we have in a sort of a fairly sort of Yorkshire, but also further afield kind of band of nostalgic toy enthusiasts. And it's a lovely, lovely community to be part of. Everyone is very, very friendly. You know, and it's just, we're all very supportive of one another, and we do see each other at toy fairs and in Cosmic Toys and, you know, other emporiums of this nature. So it's just, you know, we learn from one another, and we do, you know, we just sort of enjoy what we do, basically. I think it's fair to say. So, and that's all I really wanted to say in this video, just to welcome you to the channel, basically. Trek Toys will continue for a little while. I've just had a big pickup of new things. So that will carry on for a number of weeks yet at the time of recording, and I will just carry on doing whatever takes my fancy on a Thursday, basically. But I will try and keep to a regular routine. You know, life sometimes gets in the way, and if it does, it does. I'm not going to hold myself over a barrel over it, but you know, when I do get opportunity to do more content like this, then obviously I will take that opportunity. But as with anything else, it's a question of balance as much as anything else for me personally. So, you know, I've just got to be realistic about how much I can and can't do. So I will leave it there. Do enjoy the channel. Do have a nosy around. There are various playlists here. Quite a lot of Babylon 5 stuff, Eagle Moss unboxings, various sort of auction pickup videos. But you'll get the idea. You will notice as well that at one point most of the videos do then become 4K, because as I say, you know, as time goes on, I don't earn enough to put a huge amount back into the channel, but what I do earn just help to offset what I'm sort of getting over time. I get bits and bats from Amazon, like lights and so on, to try and improve things. So yes, as I say, you know, if you do have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments or the community tab, and I'll see you out there. Keep well. Cheers for now.